everyone. So it's been several days since I posted a video because I have not been the best about keeping up to date on everything. So before I talked a lot about, justifying other people's behaviors and how we should not do that. I think that's a struggle. Like, I started seeing a new therapist today, and I'm grateful because she was really good and she understands trauma and PTSD and triggers, and the obsessive compulsive and ADHD and all the above. But I think, you have to go back, and I'm sorry if I can't look at you, but that would be dangerous, and I really don't want to wreck my new Tahoe. So, anyhow, looking back, like, over my life, and knowing and thinking, oh my gosh, I really don't remember very many good memories, like, at all. Except my kids being born, of course, and my granddaughter. But, I mean, yes, when, growing up, I spent so much time with my grandparents, and I could, at their house, because my mom passed away when I was 2, and that's pretty much when my life went to hell. But being at my grandma's house, even at that young age, like, I could feel my mom. And it's so strange. But I could feel her presence. And I remember there was a picture. It was my mom's senior picture that was in the living room. And it did not matter where I moved in that living room. It was like her eyes were staring at me at every spot in the living room. And it used to scare me to death, and so even though my grandmother was an amazing lady, and she did so much for me, and my grandpa did too, and he taught me responsibility, and it was just the mental aspect of what my grandmother did, as far as, calling me by my mom's name and trying to replace my mom with me, which, I will never talk bad on my grandmother when it comes to that, because I can't even imagine losing one of my kids or my grandkids. I mean, that I would not even want to keep living. So I commend her, on her strength for getting by that, especially when my mom was only 28. But at the same time, dressing me in my mom's clothes, and and it was a daily ritual, and this, every day I was there was a closet that was specified, to my mom's belongings, and a dresser, and I literally had to go through the closet. My grandmother had to show me everything of my mom's, and I remember it had that musty old smell to it, and I can still smell it to this day. If I go in an area that has that smell, it automatically triggers that memory, and so people don't realize that when you suffer from PTSD, especially the severity of mine, you have so many triggers, and it's almost impossible to stay away from all of them, and you'd have to put yourself in a bubble, and live that way. But I look back, and I'm thinking, because I remember, so vividly, I mean, everything from the smells to everything, the colors, just the taste, everything when I was a little bitty. And going through, and another, all the time thing was going through the photo liked it in a way because, I wanted to get to know my mom and to kind of know what kind of person that she was. However, when it is pounded in you like that, when you're, just a toddler, and then pretty much your entire life through your teenage years and adult, man, it's hard because it's just difficult. And I look back and I think, okay, because, she would dress me in her clothes, take pictures, and I'd have to look at the pictures. And so, doing all that to me when I was little, it just caused some severe mental problems with me when it comes to having a fear of my mother instead of, mourning her and missing her. Now, I've gotten kind of past it, and man, I wish my mom was here. And if you've lost a parent, I've got to tell you that it's hard. Or a sibling, holy crap, that's like a tough one. But growing up, I had the exact same dream every single night. Up through high school, it was a recurring dream, and oh my gosh, I got so tired of it because it was my mom chasing me, and me running from my mom. And I'm thinking, why? Why does it have to be this way? Why do I have to be scared? That was my mom. But my mom, she suffered from severe depression, and she was hospitalized for it. I'm not sure how many times. I think 2 I know of. But, and then I started thinking, well, was it because of, did my grandmother push her over, that threshold or that limit like she did me? But I don't know, and I don't want to say anything bad about my grandma because, she did so much for me. But, depression, it does run in my family. My oldest son suffers from it. And then as you get older, you get told that it's all in your head, and your anxiety, your PTSD. There's nothing wrong with you. It's all in your head. And I'm crazy. That's what I heard all the time. Oh my gosh. Thinking back, on all the names I was called and how I was belittled and put down, I'm thinking, oh my, I can't even imagine saying that stuff to my kids ever. Or my grandkids. Sorry, but that's a lot. And, well, my dad's wife, she didn't care. She's evil. She's evil to this day. And, here's what I knew, over time, which most people knew her, or the ones that actually knew her, they knew how she was. But you get really good at putting on a show. It's like you're Jekyll and Hyde, and that was her. But the people that actually knew her, they knew what she was really like. And then as the years have gone by, her very, very best friend, her entire life, that I grew up with, her best friend's kids, and I'm still very close to the son, and so, he keeps me updated on how my dad's doing. But, my dad's wife started being really hateful and rude to her own best friend, who, when she had no place to live, no place to go, no one to stay with, who took her in? Her best friend. And then when her best friend gets sick or needs something and can't get around, then she starts treating her like shit. really? Who do you think you are? Man. You know, and it sucks that I'm not just now realizing this, but I'm glad that people over the years have really started realizing and seeing with their own eyes the truth behind who she really is and how she really is. And I will tell you, with all my health problems, I'm not even supposed to be here, and I won't be here long, and I already know that, and I'm okay. Completely. Because, I figure I'm going to be with my mom and my sister, and that's good with me. But, yeah, my gosh, when you just, at my age, you really start to realize, like me right now, and I know I'm jumping way, way far ahead, but I'm thinking I am so damn proud of myself because after everything I went through, every name I was called, everything I witnessed, everything, I came out on top. I'm the survivor, and truly, I'm the survivor, in more ways than one. But, I fought back, and I chose not to be like that, and, I don't care. People ask me about my family. Well, you know what? To me, I don't have one, because, number one, most of the family, they have so many skeletons in their closet that they don't want let out. Trust me, they don't. But you're not allowed to say anything about them. However, because I pulled myself away because I could not handle it, then it's, let's make this up and trying to defend myself over some shit I didn't do. And some of it was so damn ridiculous. I'm thinking to myself, why would anyone be stupid enough to believe some of this stuff? Because